Hi, so today we are going to talk about future method. So what is a future method? A future method is something which runs asynchronously, executes after a transaction is over and uses future annotation. So in simple words, it runs later outside the current transaction. Also depends on the system availability and how many future methods are queued up to line up, but it is near real time. So let's say you click the save button, that transaction, that spinner is done and your save has been committed. That's when the future method will start doing its job. Right? The syntax of a future method is you need to put this @future on your future method. This is very, very important. The method has to be static and it usually does not return anything in the background, because when the transaction happens, it can, you don't know when that transaction is happening. So you cannot have a method or anything else waiting for that transaction to complete. So hence it is void. And in terms of parameters, you can only pass the primitive data types, which is like number, decimal, strings, Boolean values that can be passed out. You cannot pass any object as such to your future method. Right? What is the use case? Basically the callouts from the trigger cannot be done. Hence you use a future method to do a callout. If the processing is heavy and you are running into some SQL issues or governor limits, that's when you use future method, come out of those processing issues. And only if that update is not immediately needed, that's when you do a future method. When to not use it: when you need an immediate result, the execution order matters to you, and you have a very complex logic flow, then look at either using batch class or a queuable class. We are going to talk about queuable class in the next video, which is very, very important. Future is a concept which we need you to know, because in any of the generational old Salesforce instances, you would see a lot of future method, which as a best practice should be converted into queuable classes. So you need to know what is a future method. There are limitations. It cannot return values. You cannot chain it. So from one future method, you cannot call another future method. The execution order is not guaranteed, like I said in the beginning, and you can only have 50 calls per transaction. So you can, from one trigger, you can call up to 50 future methods, 50 different future methods. So from one future method, you can call up to 50 future methods. Okay, so now I'll show you in our org how does the future method look like. So basically what you need to do is, for your future method, you need to use future keyword here before any method. You can do that. Just make sure that method is static. The parameters it has are only the primitive data types, basically ID, string, integer. They can be the parameters, right? So let's run it and see how it basically works. So it's very simple, because it's a static method. How do we call it? Like this. Now we need to pass an ID here. So what we'll do is ID A, and we'll pass A here, and we'll execute this. Right now, one thing to observe within these logs is that you can see this is your execute anonymous log. This is your execute anonymous log, where you can see it invoked the future method. You can say it says number of future calls 1 out of 50, right? And now you have a separate future log which is coming up here, and within this you can see the debug log saying I'm the future, right? So your future is basically a separate transaction. Hence you can see the separate debug log coming here, and that's your future method basically.